It was extremely special. It was very strong.
Which was strong in the what?
Our relationship was very strong and very serious and very real. We went together for 1 year, and he trusted me, and I do not want to betray his trust even in death.
Post salad, carry it home. Post salad,
So the story of Elvis and Ann Margret is kind of an interesting one. It's sort of like a summer fling, so to speak, even though it lasted more than like 3 months. It's sort of like a summer fling or something that Elvis would look back fondly on because it was fast. It was something that he thought that he wanted, and a lot of his friends believed that would have been best for him to be in a relationship with Ann Margret. Elvis always had fond affections for her and sent her roses in the shape of a guitar at every single opener she had in Vegas. He always cared about her. And even Ann Margret, you got to give it to her. She's one of the few that I can even think of that refuses to speak any negative memories on Elvis. She doesn't even really say a lot of positive things, in the sense that she doesn't reveal anything that's personal between them. So they both really cherished their relationship for as short as it was. So we all know that they met in 1963, and they met for the movie Viva Las Vegas, which was one of Elvis's biggest and most recognizable movies of the 60s. It was just after Ann Margret started to become very famous and became known as the female Elvis. They had a lot of similarities, similar bone structure in their face, very energetic, charismatic performers and actors, very good looking, both of them. She just got done making Bye Bye Birdie, so she was riding high. So when Elvis and Ann Margret met on the set of Viva Las Vegas, they pretty much fell instantly head over heels with each other. And this is an interesting Valentine's Day type video. They would do things that were not typical for Elvis and his girl. So in other words, the Memphis Mafia wouldn't just go pick up Ann Margret and drive her back to Elvis. Elvis would actually go pick her up. They would do things like ride motorcycles in the mountains. This was in California. They would spend a lot of time together, a lot of time alone together, as Charlie Hodges said many times that he would listen. Not that he would listen in, but it was hard for him not to listen, if you know what I mean. So this relationship started just after Priscilla moved to Graceland. So Priscilla was at Graceland. She just finished her Catholic school that she promised, or Elvis promised her parents that she would finish. The relationship was hindered by the relationship with Priscilla because it seems as though Elvis had already made a promise to Priscilla's dad that he would marry her. So Priscilla stayed back at Memphis, read all the reports, all the newspapers, in the magazines, about gossip between Elvis and Ann Margret, that something was really going on. Elvis always denied it. And one time when Priscilla really questioned him in California, Elvis got so mad, and Priscilla was in California because Ann Margret was overseas promoting a movie. Elvis got so mad, he told her to get your stuff and get out, and packed up all of her stuff. It was really a form of manipulation. It was a bluff. He just wanted to teach her not to press him hard on these issues. So we all know about their love story, Ann and Elvis, but why didn't it work out? Well, a few factors that led to the end of their relationship was Priscilla started talking about it to the press, and I believe it was Britain, where she was promoting a movie, England. Elvis didn't like that because word got back to him about them having a relationship, and some of the details of their relationship with Elvis. Elvis didn't like it. He confronted her on it, and they broke up over the phone. When Ann eventually came back to the States and had a meeting with Elvis, we don't know Elvis's side of the story. None of the Memphis Mafia were there to tell what happened because it was a private meeting, and we all know Ann keeps things private between, herself. Maybe, I don't even think she tells her loved ones, maybe her husband she did, I don't know. But what Ann said in her autobiography, she hinted towards a promise was made and Elvis had to stick to that promise. Now, I think the promise was Elvis promised to marry Priscilla. Elvis was already committed in that relationship. Also, Elvis, even though he really loved Ann, he wanted more of the traditional type wife. And Elvis knew Priscilla from 14. He could mold her to be how he wanted her to be. Follow him around. Follow his lead. Ann had her own career. She wasn't willing to give that up. And also Elvis was very competitive. And and a lot of people believe that there would have been some maybe competition between the two. And Elvis didn't want to compete with his wife. So those were some of the events that led to Elvis and Ann, their relationship not working out. I think she would have been a good one for Elvis because she even at this point, she's never even spoken bad about it.